Okay, so this is our Safety Awareness Week, something that the Safety Advisory Committee have tried to implement over the last couple of years to help our clubs become more aware of safety in rowing. I think the first thing to do is to introduce the team, which is the Safety Advisory Committee. It's Joe Cantlin, Sabrina O'Carroll, Robert Dunn, Stephen Archibald, Leo Gibson, and myself. And I'd like to thank them for their time and their efforts on getting together regularly to discuss important matters of safety within Rowing Ireland. Tonight, we're going to talk about the club's safety advisor and their role and responsibilities. The aim of the session is to assist you, of those of you who are the club safety advisor, to understand what your role and responsibilities are. We're going to look at the roles and responsibility. Why does the club need a comprehensive safety statement? Who is the responsible person? We'll talk about club safety structure, what are hazards and risks, the hazard and risk ratings, how to carry out a risk assessment, and then risk mitigation. So, it should be noted that the club safety advisor are not responsible for rowing safety. And I think that's important to say at the very beginning. There's some people who take on this role feel that all of a sudden everything that's to do with safety is being dumped on them. That's not the case. They are expected to provide advice on rowing safety, and that's what this session and Thursday night session will help them to be able to do. It's the responsibility of the individual and their clubs to ensure that people are not harmed by clubs' activities. So in essence, there's a responsibility on everybody in the club for their own safety. The club safety advisor should be familiar with the guidance provided in Row Safe. Row Safe is a new document that we launched last year. It's a very comprehensive document, and we'll talk more about it later on in this presentation. Provide advice to the club committee and the club leadership on all matters relating to safety as is appropriate. Ensure the completion of the annual safety audit for the club. For those of you who don't know, that every year at affiliation time, the club must fill in the club self-assessment safety audit. All right, there's a series of questions that are asked, and we build up a picture within Rowing Ireland of the standards of safety within our clubs. What we are going to do this year is we are going to audit a few clubs. We're going to call, we'll give people plenty of notice that we're calling, but we'll meet the safety advisor and the club committee and just talk through their responses to the safety audit and see that the standards are actually being met at the club and not just what's written down in paper. The safety advisor should undertake safety reviews of all the club's activities and facilities, undertake inspections and audits if requested to do so by the club, and provide feedback to the committee. They should promote and monitor incident reporting within the club and the reporting of all incidents to Rowing Ireland. Later on in this presentation, we'll also talk about the iRow Safe, which is the online reporting system on our website, and that's where all incidents and accidents should be reported. Periodically, for clubs, probably annually, they should analyse the club's reported incidents to identify any common issues and trends and initiate actions to address any opportunities for improvement. It's through near misses and accidents and incidents that we learn what we should be doing properly. All right. And if we can get people to report incidents and accidents, we can all learn from them, and hopefully we won't all make the same mistakes. The club safety advisor should lead or facilitate incident investigations as is necessary. They should lead or facilitate the completion and review of the club's risk assessment. Use the risk assessments process to identify required safety rules within the club. They should work with the club committee and the leadership of the club to develop and maintain the club safety plan, the safety rules, and the emergency action plan. Over the last 2 years, we put an emphasis on the action plan. Clubs have very, very comprehensive and very good safety statements. What they are lacking in the safety statement is an actual emergency plan. What should we do if something happens? All right, the safety statement identifies the risks and hazards and how we can mitigate those risks and hazards. The emergency action plan tells us what to do in the case of an emergency. As a rowing safety advisor, you should be a willing member of the club committee. You should attend safety meetings and webinars, and you should work with Rowing Ireland's Safety Advisory Committee. Also, what we should take into account are other water and land users on safety as required. I know in the area where my club is, we are now getting more and more open water swimmers, people out on paddle boards, and we need to engage with them so that everybody who's using the water can stay safe. Okay, club safety statements. So why do we have a safety statement? Every year again at affiliation time, we ask the club to upload their safety statement. We also ask them when was the last time it was reviewed, and we recommend that these documents should be reviewed, if not annually, at least every 3 years. All right, they're important documents. They're telling your members how you are going to mitigate the risks and the hazards that are involved in our sport, and also the risks and hazards that are around your area where your club operates. Why do we need a comprehensive safety statement? Well, under the Health, Safety, Welfare at Work Act 2005, every employer or club must prepare a safety statement. So there's legislation there saying that your club must have a safety statement. It's also part of our policy requirement. Your club will not be allowed to affiliate with Rowing Ireland each year unless they provide us with a safety statement that reaches a certain standard. In some instances, there's a funding requirement that your club has to be compliant on safety before you'll be granted your funding. It should be upgraded regularly to take account of changing circumstances. No two places stay the same. Our clubs are always changing. The water around us is changing, so they need to be updated regularly. So, what is a safety statement? It's a document which should include the following: a declaration signed by the club management. So it should be signed, and it should be dated to show when it was last reviewed. It has hazards identified and risks assessed. Some of the risk assessments, some of the safety statements we got this year didn't include the risk assessments carried out by the club. They're an essential part of your safety statement because it's proof in the case of an accident or incident to a barrister or to anybody, a lawyer, that the club has taken has done risk assessments and has taken measures to mitigate the risks. They show the protective and preventative measures taken. So what safeguards have you taken as a club to ensure the safety of your members? It shows the plans and procedures for dealing with emergencies, whether they're serious or imminent. So if we know there's a serious weather event coming our way, what plans have you in place to make the place safe? It highlights the duties of the employees, our volunteers, members, contractors to cooperate with health and safety. So everybody within your club should be cooperating. If you have a set of safety rules, your members should be following those rules. It has the names of the person required to perform tasks pursuant to the safety. It is important that we give ownership to this document and that we give ownership to the actions that are required to keep us safe. Is it the coach's responsibility? Is it the captain's responsibility? Is it the committee's responsibility? It should be listed in your safety statement. For a safety statement to work, we have to develop a safe club safety structure, and that structure starts from the very top. If we don't have our committee and our directors, our presidents serious about safety, then the rest of the club isn't going to be there at all. That culture should be supported and always promoted by the safety advisor, by the club captain, the president or the chairperson, by the coaches, by the volunteers, by the members. It's a culture of safety for the whole club. It's not the responsibility of the safety advisor to ensure everybody's safety. It's everybody's responsibility to ensure the safety, their own safety. To help people write risk assessments and to understand their safety requirements more, last year we launched what we call the Row Safe document. It's quite a large document. It's on our Rowing Ireland website, and it helps our safety advisors, our members, our coaches, and our committees to understand the requirements regarding to safety. RowSafe provides safety advice to rowers, clubs, to competition organisers, and everyone else associated with the sport of rowing. RowSafe is a simple and a direct web-enabled directory, a one-stop shop for rowing safety information. It is very, very comprehensive. And each section contains expectations for various groups. So there's an expectation on everybody. There's expectations on the club, what expectations there are on competition organisers, on the coaches, and in fact, the expectations on Rowing Ireland as well. The list varies a little according to the topic, okay? And they also contain links to other relevant information. The RowSafe guidance document includes sections on culture and expectations, communications, club safety, competition safety, competence, which we are hearing more and more in safety terms, people, equipment, health, topics that should be covered in risk assessments, rowing on the sea, land training, incidents reporting, and auditing. We would encourage all our club safety advisors, our coaches, rowers, committee members to make themselves familiar with this guidance document. Hand in hand with the RowSafe document is our iRowSafe, which is our online incident and accident reporting system. This was launched 2-3 years ago to try for us to get together a piece of information to show us what were the trends of accidents and incidents in Rowing Ireland. We can all learn from other people's unfortunate experiences. iRowSafe is not about pointing a finger of blame. It's about identifying the accidents and incidents that are happening in our patch and seeing if there's lessons that we can learn from them that we can share with all our other clubs and so make us safe. The aim of the iRowSafe is to collect valuable information on trends of incidents, accidents, and near misses. It gives clubs a place to report and record incidents. And that's one of the first questions you'll be asked in your club. If you have a serious accident or incident and somebody comes to do an investigation, was there a report made? Was it recorded? Where was it recorded? And all the incidents that come into on the iRowSafe are looked at by the Safety Advisory Committee, and they're recorded and they're kept for safekeeping. So you will have a record of them when required. It allows the Rowing Ireland Safety Advisory Committee to evaluate trends in incidents and occurrences within rowing in Ireland. It allows Rowing Ireland to build a picture of how the safety process we have in place, things like capsize drill, are keeping our members safe. You might wonder why we want to know about all the capsize drills. And thank God, 99% of our capsizes in Ireland are just somebody gets wet, a little bit cold, they're rescued, taken out of the water, and they're brought back to the clubhouse, change of clothes, they're gotten warm, and they're sent home safely. By recording those near misses or capsizes, we can build up a picture and we can say, if need to, in an inquiry afterwards, well, we had 500 capsizes last year. And from that, we had no serious incidents. We had no serious injuries. Nobody spent time in hospital. But we can't build that picture unless you help us out, unless you start putting in. And we all know every week there's a capsize out there. New people going out in a single scull, people hitting the bank, oars getting caught in other oars or in the bank of the river, and they're getting capsized. And most of the time, people laugh it off. They get back into their boat and they row away. We need to know about those incidents so that we can build up the picture. The systems and process around the information gathered is one of no blame. We focus our evaluation on why rather than the who. We try to interpret the information so that we can learn lessons and pass on valuable learnings to all our members. The uptake of the system has not been what we were hoping for, and we are asking our members to please report all accidents, near misses, and incidents. It will make us all safer. It's a very easy system to fill in, very quick. It records for you the fact that there was an incident and there was no harm done and no accident. For us, it helps us build up a picture that our sport is safe. And when it comes to when the code of practice for the safe operation of recreational craft, when that comes out, and that's the booklet that gives us our exemption to life jackets, when we're asked why should we have that exemption to life jackets, we can say we have 500 in the last year. We've had 500 capsizes and no serious incidents from them because of the other mitigation, the other safety processes we put in place. Okay, thank you for that. I'm now going to talk a bit about hazards and risks, because a lot of people have asked us, well, how do I do a risk assessment? And we're going to try and help you do that here. So what is a hazard? A hazard is a potential source of harm or adverse health effect on a person or people. Okay. So it's the potential for harm to happen to somebody. What is a risk? Risk is the likelihood that a person may be harmed or suffers adverse health effects if exposed to a hazard. So the hazard is to the person, and what is the risk? The risk is what's the likelihood that that person will be hurt? What level will they be hurt? Will they end up with a serious health effect or a minor health effect? The terms hazard and risks are often used interchangeably, but this simple example explains the difference between the two. So if there's a spill of water, then the water will present a slipping hazard to the person passing through it. Okay? The hazard is the water. It's a risk to the person who may walk through it and slip and fall and get hurt. If access to that area was prevented by a physical barrier, then the hazard would remain though the risk would be minimized. And I'm going to try to show you that here now. So the hazard here is a water spill. It's a risk to the person walking. So anybody walking into that water is in a risk of a slip or fall. That fall can lead to a serious incident. It could lead to a sprained ankle, a sore back, sore head. All right. So what can we do to mitigate the risk? So even at home, what you would do is you would place up a barrier. So this barrier does two things. First of all, in most instances, it stops anybody walking through the water. But it also, if they're not going to stop them, it slows them down. So it reduces the risk. It reduces the hazard. Sorry, it doesn't take away the hazard. It puts mitigation in place to reduce the risk. So this time, if a person walks up to the barrier, they're not going to slip and fall. They're going to be stopped by the barrier. And if they do force their way through, they'll walk slower. So the likelihood of it happening has been reduced. So you identify the hazard. You assess the risks that are involved. You put some kind of mitigation into place. And it's important that we identify the person that is responsible to put that mitigation in place. If possible, we remove the hazard. If not, we try and reduce the risk to our members. So when we're assessing the severity and consequences, so this risk matrix here down the left-hand side has the likelihood of something happening from 1 to 5. And then it has the severity or the consequences across the top, again, 1 to 5. So if we take the example of somebody slipping in the water, the likelihood of them slipping is fairly high. Okay, the consequences from that could be high as well. They could fall and fracture their skull. So 5 by 3 is 15. So that means it has been assessed at high. That's before we put any mitigation into place. So when we then place our barriers, we have now reduced the likelihood of that happening to a 2. And the severity and the consequences have also been reduced. So 2 by 2 is 4. So we have greatly reduced the injury, the possibility of injury to that person. And that's what you're doing when you're looking at a risk assessment. You're saying, okay, what is it at the moment? And what can I do to reduce the severity or the consequences of that risk? If we look at this from a rowing point of view, and we look at a fixed risk, so that's something that we can't remove. With a water spill, I can go in with a mop and I can mop it up and I can dry out the floor and I can make it safe again. But for some of us, when we're on the water, there may be a weir nearby. Well, we can't remove the weir. So what can we do to mitigate the risk of that weir and the severity of something happening to our members? So what we talk about is the traffic light system. So there should be a green area around this fixed risk, that is safe area for all to turn and go back, no matter what the weather is, no matter what the flow of water is, no matter what the skill level. No matter what the skill level of the crew that's involved. Then there should be a yellow area, and in this area is where all coxes and coaches, in fact all members, know that they must turn immediately. We should not be in this area and we need to turn immediately. The red area then is unsafe area for all. No crews to ever enter this area. So the only way to do that is local knowledge. So you can bring your coaches out and you can identify a tree, or you can put markers down on the bank and say, here's an area we should never go into. Here's an area that, okay, if we go into there, we know we must immediately turn. And the other area is the green area, where we know that we have no risk to any crew, no matter what the weather, no matter what their capabilities are, they can go in and turn. So again, even though this is a fixed risk, we can't remove the risk, but we can put mitigation in place to reduce the risk to our rowers. Identify the hazard, assess the risks, put mitigation in place, identify the persons responsible. And in this case, there could be a few people responsible. The coach who's taking the session, the committee beforehand to identify where are the safety areas and where is not safe. Okay, the crews, the coxes themselves also have a responsibility. If possible, remove the hazard. In this case, we can't. So what we do is we reduce the risk. Yeah, I'll end this up. So please, for the next while, we're here to hope, and the rest of the committee are here to answer questions if you have them. Okay, things like, is it safe? Should we? Where? I don't understand. Some of these answers you can get yourself in the code of practice for the safe operation of recreational craft. You can certainly get a lot of them in the new Row Safe document. And also, we're here to help you, the Rowing Ireland Safety Advisory Committee. We're here to help you out, to answer your questions. So please don't be afraid to contact us. I will share this presentation with everybody. There's no secrets in it. There are links in it to the IRO Safe document. To the Row Safe document, to the IRO Safe online reporting system, to the safe operation of recreational craft, which is for the code of practice. And then if you have any safety concerns, if you please email me at clubsupport@rowingireland.ie. I am the current chair of the Safety Advisory Committee. I will pass all your concerns and questions on to the committee so we can deal with them. So that's the row safe document and the safe operation of recreational craft documents. This row safe is ours. The safe operation of recreational craft is actually provided by the Department of Transport. Okay, I'll just stop sharing this now. Okay, now, any questions, discussions? Sally? Go ahead, Sally. Sally, you have your hand up there. Are you trying to?
You're still muted, Sally.
Oh, she's showing there that she's not. Can you hear us, Sally? Yeah. I don't know why we can't hear you, Sally. While you're trying to sort out, Sally, anybody else have a quick question? Somebody's cleaning the dishes there to mute themselves.
Jacinta Pat there has a question.
Jacinta, go ahead.
Yeah, hi there, Pat. Hi, everyone. I've just done risk assessments for our club reported on boat club, and I've got most of them done. I've got another couple to do. So, do you want us to send them to you on an annual basis, or do we wait until you specifically ask for them?
No, so Sally, what you can do is you can hold on to them, all right, and then next year at affiliation time, when you are providing your safety statement, those risk assessments should be attached as well.
Great.
That does a couple of things, Jacinta. It shows to us that you're taking safety seriously and that you're filling out the risk assessment correctly, but also it's showing that they're now recorded with us as well. So if anybody comes back and asks questions about your club afterwards, there's proof there that you can show every year that you are updating your risk assessments and that you're logging that risk assessments with us. So well done, Jacinta, just finished it.
You know, okay. It's my first year on the committee, but one thing that it'd be great if I could check with you, please, because we've kind of adopted the manual, your manual, and it does state that all the launch drivers have to be licensed. Now, it's pretty expensive to do the courses. I've looked into that. I have it. I don't really use it, to be honest, but and we've trained up new coaches and we've more to train. So it's extremely expensive to get them licensed. So we do have somebody with a level 3 license. So could they train and make sure? I mean, a lot of them are very experienced, they're highly competent, but they just don't have the actual license document the way so is that, because it does state its requirement, and I think not least because it also covers man overboard, it covers the health and safety or the first aid and all of that. So what is your view, or what advice would you give on that?
So we're in the document, in the code of practice from the Department of Transport on the safe operation of recreational craft, the term that they use is suitably qualified. It says a coach and or safety boat should always be in attendance and other safety precautions must be followed. Operators of safety boats should be suitably qualified. Now, they haven't said exactly what suitably qualified is. We understand completely the cost. So if your club has 12 launch drivers, to get them trained up to RSA level 2 could cost €250, if not more, per person.
Oh, it's way more than that. Yeah, it's way more than that. Yeah.
Yeah, so what we are trying to do at the moment is we're looking into trying to train up a few instructors in Rowing Ireland that we can send around the country to clubs to help them. But for the moment, what I would suggest is that you have a process that you put your launch drivers through, that somebody with more experience, or as you said, if you have a level 3
Yeah.
there, somebody who will
Yeah.
walk through the launch driving with your new launch drivers, okay,
Great. Yeah.
and go through and get it recorded somewhere that you give this person some level of instruction. All right.
Excellent. No, that's great, because we do have a level 3 and we have 2 level 2, so that'd be fantastic if that would keep us, and we could log
Yeah.
that then when the trainings etc. took place. That's super. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. No problem at all. Good
Thank
question,
you.
Jacinta. Thank you. Sally, how are you? Yeah.
She's written her question in there. Does the safety advisor need to be a member of the club committee? Is it okay that they just advise the committee? That was Sally's question.
Yeah. Sally, I think they should be a member of the committee because safety needs to be taken very seriously by every club. And if you're not at the committee meetings, like what I have always said to people, our safety, every committee meeting should start off with the minutes of the last meeting. They should ask 2 very important questions then. Say, has there been any safeguarding issues reported since the last meeting? Has there been any safety incidents since the last meeting? If you are not a regular member of the committee, you're not going to be able to influence safety within the club. All right. And if you only show up every now and again, so that's why it is recommended that your safety advisor should be an active member of your club committee.
Joe Toner, Pat, has his hand up there.
Okay, Joe, go ahead. You're still on mute,
Yeah,
Joe. That's it.
No, I'm off now. Yeah. Hiya, Pat. Hello, everybody. Just when you mentioned the launch drivers, Pat, you were talking about people in Rowan Ireland be trained up. Is it that they would be Rowan Ireland staff, or would you? I was thinking maybe that we could have something where there might be volunteers from various areas of the country that might volunteer to be trained up.
Yeah.
And then say like that lady's up in somebody spoke there was up in Portadown. So you're not going to send some from Cork up to Portadown, you know. So
yeah, no, Joe, that is our intention. It's not necessarily looking at staff members.
Right.
It's looking at volunteers that we can train up, and that they would send it, and so then we could send them around, and then only charge clubs the cost of sending that person there, rather than charging 200 or 300 or 400 euros per person. Now, we are talking to providers at the moment. We just need to be able to make sure that we can stand over that training those people give in the future. But it certainly won't be it's not staff members. It's people that we'll have, hopefully, as you said, Joe, around the country who can help out clubs nearby.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
No problem. Anybody else there?
Nobody at the moment, Pat.
No.
Jacinta,
Okay.
you've your hand up. Is that from the last time?
It is. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
No, you're okay, Jacinta. No problem at all. Okay, listen, again, I apologize for the confusion at the beginning. I don't know what was wrong with the link that I sent out. In Thursday's session will be a bit more in depth, going in, looking at the detail within the safe operation of recreational craft and the row safe document. If in the meantime you have any questions, I will send out this presentation to everybody. For those who may have missed the beginning of it because of the mix up with the link, I will share it with everybody that registered, and if need be, I can meet you, or we can arrange a call one-on-one and go through the presentation with you. Okay. Again, Deirdre, you weren't supposed to be here. You saved my life. Thank you very much for coming along and getting the link sorted out. And everybody, good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Pat.